what are we doing in today's math session? Well, today we're going to talk about doubling and halving. We're going to talk about what both of those terms mean and explain how one is the inverse of the other. I'll explain what that means as we go, everyone. It's particularly important that children are able to demonstrate it both visually and practically, and that children can then apply it to groups of objects and use it with numbers. So we'll do a bit of everything, and I've got a practical activity to begin with that you can do with your children at home. I didn't put it as a link for today's session. I thought you could watch me. I'll tell you where to find the instructions if you need it, but we're going to have a go at making some salt dough. So, first things first. Got my mixing bowl at the ready. Perfect. I'm just checking my camera as I go to make sure you can see everything and you know what I'm doing. So, first things first, we've got my mixing bowl, so I'll pop it to the side so we've got it ready to go. And I'm going to measure today using cups. Here we've got. I'm going to use this glass actually, this glass here, because I've got a few different of the same size, see. So, I've got a glass here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I need to have certain amount of flour. So I'm going to fill this cup with flour. Go. Now, the measure we're going to use in a lot of cases is going to be 1 cup, 1 glass. It doesn't matter how big it is, but it's going to be one of a cup or a glass. Made a mess already. I'm good at making a mess. Now, we've got 1 cup. The thing is, with the flour, I want to double the amount of flour that I'm going to be using. So, I've only got 1, and to double means we want 2 of the same, or we want to times it by 2 if you're in year 2, so you're doing your multiplications and things, or we need the same again. Here we've got a glass of flour. Now, hoping this is going to work properly for you on the screen, I'm going to show you what that might look like in a practical way. Ooh. And here we've got it. Oh, I've brought in mirror to today's lesson. So I've got the same again. I've got the 1 cup here, and then it's got the same again behind it. You can see it in the reflection. So I've now got double of the 1 cup. I've ended up with 2. So let's try a bit of a magic trick. On the count of 3, we're going to make another glass of flour appear. A 1, a 2, oh, what's happened? Oh! There we go. I've doubled the amount, so I've got 2 of the same. 2 cups of flour. In we go. And there we have it. Got the flour in a bowl. Excellent. Now, next we're going to have some salt. But I don't want that amount of salt. I don't want 2 cups. I'll pour it in. Oh, I forget how long this takes. There we go. Salt. A good reminder if you're going to make salt dough is do not eat it. It does not taste very nice. It tastes a lot like salt. So, we have now got 2 cups of salt. I only want to use half this amount. So what does half mean? Half is where we divide something into 2 equal parts. So there's an easy way we can do that. We're going to divide it into 2 equal parts. We'll have 1 cup here and 1 cup here, and both are the same. So we'll make it practically happen, disappear again with our magic trick. On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Well, that didn't work so well, did it? So we've got half the amount of sugar now. We've only got 1. So I'm going to put that in our mixture. Here we go. Excuse me a moment, everybody. Making a bit of a mess. We've got all sorts of equipment for today's session, so I'm a bit everywhere for what we're going to be doing. Next, I'm going to show a different way of doing this. I've got a cup of water, quite a large glass of water, as you can see. But the thing is, I only want to use half of this glass of water. So what do I have to do to half it? Can you remember what I said? I'm going to keep an eye on the chat and see if anybody can answer what we have to do. So, I only want to use half this cup of water. So what could I do? Just keeping an eye on the chat to see if anybody can answer what I can do. I only want to use half of this cup of water. Ooh, some of the terms we're using here. Split into 2 cups. Split it into 2. You could use half of it. Absolutely. Pour it into another cup. Excellent. All correct answers, these. These are perfect. Pour into 2 smaller glasses. Good. Split into 2 cups. Absolutely. There's one word we need to remember, boys and girls, when we're talking about halving. You're saying split into 2 cups. You're absolutely right. But both the cups, the amount has to be equal. We need 2 equal groups or 2 equal parts. Perfect. Pour the water in the same cups so it's the same. Equal, the same. Perfect. That's the sort of words we need to be using, the mathematical terms, when we're talking about halving. Divide. Perfect. Divide by 2. Even better. Perfect work. So what I'm going to do now, hopefully without making too much of a mess, is going to try and pour half of this water into this glass and half the water into this glass. Wish me luck. I've got quite a bit on the table, so I'll have a bit on there, have a bit more there. Almost. Absolutely. I think that's pretty good. Get my towel, tidy up a little bit. A wobbly kitchen table I'm using now as well. So as you were saying, everyone, 2 equal cups of water. What I'm going to do so you can see them a bit more. I want my food colouring to make our salt dough a little bit different. So they're almost just about equal. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take one away and I'm only going to put half of it into our mixture. Here we have it. Time to stir it up. If you want to have a go at making this, mums and dads at home with your boys and girls, it's quite easy to do the recipe, as it's a cup or 2 cups, 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of water, and 1 cup of salt, and there are instructions and recipes on the Twinkl website. You need to give it a really good stir to begin with. Really good stir to begin with, and then the next bit is the best bit. Once you've got it going, is you've got to get your hands stuck in. So I'm sorry I can't share with this with you over the camera, as we're not together, but if you have a go at making this at home later, you can play all sorts of games with dough. Seeing lots of correct answers coming in from when we were doing the activity before and asking the questions. That's nice to see. So we're going to have a go and show you how it's an inverse of each other, how doubling and halving can be inverse, which means one is the opposite of the other. And we could halve something, and then whatever answer we get, if we double it, we get back to where we were before. So here we've got our salt dough. Let's try and roll it out a bit more. If yours gets a bit sticky while you're playing with it, put a bit of flour on the table, just a little bit. There's lots of tidying up to do after this, and it won't stick quite as much when you are working with it. Hopefully you can now see that. So here I've rolled a nice long wiggly worm-like sausage. So, similar question as before, and I want to see if people are using the right words now. I've got my salt dough rolled out into a nice long sausage. I want to halve it. Salt dough is very similar to Play-Doh, it just doesn't last for as long. I want to halve this dough. What do I need to do? I want to halve the dough that I've got in front of me. What do I need to do, boys and girls? Remember the words we used before when talking about halving. I'm looking for people commenting in the chat and giving me those sorts of answers. I've got flour and salt everywhere. I'm going to let people catch up with us because there's always a delay on the stream from what you're seeing and what I'm seeing is very different at the same time. Perfect, Alfie. Excellent answer. Joanna Powell, you are correct. Please make sure you put your children's names in and I can say well done to them. Divide in 2. Harrington, perfect. Tristan, excellent. Interesting answers again. Yes. Alex, well done. Excellent answer, Alex. Thank you, Max. Good. Arthur, good. Jonathan, good. Absolutely. These are the answers. We need to cut it, as you say, in the middle is a perfect direction to give me, but we need to cut it into 2 equal parts, or same. They have to be the same on both sides. So I'm going to have a go at estimating now, boys and girls. I have to make a sensible guess, as I haven't got any measuring equipment. So I think about there. What do you reckon? I think that's about right. So snip and snip. So now we should have 2 equal parts. So we've got half here and half here. So I'm going to move one of these out the way for now. Come on, you move over there. So now I've got 1 again. Got the half that I had before. But now I want to double this. I want to double it. And as I said before, if we want to double it, what do we need to do? Let's see who can remember, or who can try and explain what we need to do to double this dough. Excellent answers for everyone from before. This is brilliant. I am 8. Am I in the right class? You can absolutely stay, even if you're 8 years old, to watch. But we are doing another math session tomorrow for children between the ages of 7 to 9, so you can come back for that one. Ooh, excellent, Tristan. I like that answer. That's a very good answer. Just waiting for other people to comment as well. Excellent, Jonathan. Excellent answers. Thank you, Sophia. Please make sure you put your names in if you would, and I can say well done to the boys and girls in particular. Excellent. Excellent answers once again. So, as a lot of people were saying, we need the same again, or a better way of saying it, we either double it, like Harrington said, or we need to multiply it, but we need the same again. So I'll show you what that might look like. Oh! Get the mirror in place. Let me just go to the camera and make sure it's working properly. Aha! Here we've got. So we've got 2 of the equal amounts. So we've multiplied it. Let's have a look at that again. Oh. And in 3, 2, 1. No, that's not worked. There we go. It's like nothing suspicious happened. We've now got 2 of the same. We've doubled the amount. So now, rather than just playing with the salt dough, which is a lot of fun, I must admit, now I'm going to very, very quickly wash my hands. I have come prepared for the next part of the session. I need to be touching the mouse and things like that. I don't think my wife Mariah will be very happy if I end up getting Play-Doh all over her computer. Next. Now we're going to take some of this idea and move it onto groups of objects. And we can also apply the same idea to numbers. So, first things first. Let's find out this. There we go. Just a little bit tidier. You can always tell I was a messy teacher when I used to teach. So, we're going to start off with using these now. I'm going to start off with 1 cup. I've got 1 cup. What we're going to do now is going to keep practicing multiplying the amount we've got. So some of the terms that we've used before. I've got 1 cup and I want to double it. Estimations please in the chat. How many will we have once I've doubled it? Lots of lovely answers for those. I'm sorry if I haven't said well done to you in person. It's just some people's answers are about a minute or 2 behind mine. So I do apologise for that. we're going to double. I want to double this cup. How many cups will I end up with if I double? Excellent, Max, thank you. Perfect, Alfie, excellent explanation. Well done, Finley, this is good. Thank you, Tristan. Well done, Harrington. Well done, Ruby. Well done, Ava. Let me show you. Well done, Jonathan. Absolutely. If we double the amount, again, we'll put the mirror up. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a smaller mirror in our house, so I had to pinch it off the wall. So here we've got, I've doubled it again, and I've ended up with the same again. So let's try our magic trick. In 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! We've now got 2. So I want to double this again. I want to double 2. What is double 2 then? Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Sam V. Well done, Alfie. I love the explanations of what you're saying. This is perfect. Excellent. Perfect. Excellent. These are all super answers. Excellent. Yes, when we doubled, we need the same again. So we need to double this amount. We need the same amount again. So let's have a go at doing that. In 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! We've got the same again. We had 2. We had another set of 2. We doubled it. We multiplied it by 2. And we've now got 4. Listen carefully to the next question. Got a bit of a test for people now. I want you to double the amount of cups I've got here. But once you've doubled that, I want you to double that answer. I want you to double 4. And once you've got an answer, I want you to double that number as well. And we'll explain and go through it together after. See if you can work it out. There's 2 steps to this. It's a bit of a test. So we've got 4. I want you to double it. But once you've got the answer to doubling this 4, I want you to double your answer again. Good, Samby, well done. Thank you for the steps as you've explained. Well done, Harry. I want you to think about the steps you've got to do. I know I'm asking for a little bit different. Thank you, Joshua. Well done, Rohit. Don't worry, Annabelle. I can see where you've gone with that. That's an interesting thought process. It's not quite what I meant, but I do understand what you've done there. I don't want you to times the 2 answers. I want you to double the amount. You are right. 8 times 8 is that amount. It's not quite what we're doing. Perfect. Let's go through it together. So first things first. We've got 4. And we need another set of 4. We need another lot of 4. So we've doubled the amount. We've got the same again. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them all together. We put them like this. It's a bit easier. Once we got our answer, we want to double this. This is what was our answer. We got 8. We now want to find out what is double 8. Unfortunately, I've run out of cups of the same. So we're going to use the mirror again. I'm going to make sure the camera is working for this. So hold it up. There we go, just about there. So we've got the 8 on the table and the 8 behind them, and if you count them all, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 altogether. Oh, so let's inverse it now. We're going to inverse, and I've got a little activity to show you. So we've been doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. Now we're going to halve. So I've got 8. I want to halve the group of 8. What will I get? Halve the group of 8. What will we have? Good. Well done, Keenan. I can see you're answering a lot of questions today. This is good. Excellent. Perfect. I like the terminology some people are using. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Dylan. Excellent work. Thank you, Tristan. Well done, Harrington, once again. Well done, Harry. And well done, Annabelle. So, as you were all correct, we started with 8. We've now got to divide it by 2, which is a very clever way. So we need to have 2 equal groups. So both of these groups should be equal. So there should be the same number here as there is here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're exactly the same. They are equal groups. So half 8 of 8 is 4. So I'm going to move the other 4 out of the way now. Same again, we've inverted it. We had doubled 4 to make 8. We've now halved it and got 4. So we've got 4 now. What is half of 4? Well done, Keenan. Well done, Alfie. I'm loving the terminology people are using and explaining to me. This is lovely. Thank you, Finley. Well done, Samby. Well done, Tristan. Well done, Irene. Excellent. Well done, Joshua. Well done, Harry. Well done, Harrington. Well done, Alex. You are correct. Once again, we need to divide it by 2 and make 2 equal groups. So there we go. Perfect. So there should be the same amount in both groups. Let's check. 1, 2. 1, 2. There's 2 in this group and 2 in this group. So the word 4 and half of 4 is 2. Perfect. Now we could do the same again. If we were half 2 equal groups, we'd end up with half of 2 being 1. So, some follow-up activities that you could do. You can have a go at making the salt dough and making amounts of objects in the salt dough. So you can make lots of little sausages or lots of balls and things out of the dough and then split them in half. You could double them by making the same again. There is an activity that I thought was a nice one. I don't have any paint, but I've cut out a template for a butterfly. I'm just going to paint some dots on this side. So my paint is going to be food colouring. So I'm probably going to end up with a red finger after this. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 dots all on one wing. In order to double it, I'm just going to wash my fingers before I put paint, the food colouring everywhere. I want to double it now. I'm now going to fold it over in half. How many dots do you think there will be on the butterfly after this, boys and girls? We had 10, and I'm now going to double it. How many dots do you think? Hopefully this is going to work without making too much of a mess. So we had 10, and I've now hopefully doubled it. How many do you think there will be? Remember, double is times by 2, or it's the same again, so it's 10, and 10 more again. Well done, Finley. Well done, Alfie. Well done, Ruby. Well done, Esme. Well done, Thomas. You are correct. We should end up with 20. I'm going to double check and count because some of the dots didn't quite work as well as others. Probably because I'm not using paint. I'm using food colouring, so it's not quite as good. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well done to you at home. You can have a go at doing exactly the same thing and have a go at making these activities. I do want to share my screen with you, so I will do that now just before we finish. As in today's lesson links, we have got a couple of activities you could be doing at home. So we've got some doubling games here where you have to match the pairs. So if you have double 22. If I have 22, what is double of? Yeah, what is the double of that? What do you have to double to make 22, basically? Lots of games like that. If you want a simpler version, if you've got dominoes at home, mums and dads, use the dominoes to find the doubles and matching numbers together. That's a nice activity you can play. And there is just a nice addition, butterfly activity you can use. But if you think of the template that I used, I folded the card in half. I just cut a silhouette of a butterfly, and you can have a go at making your own butterflies. They are quite a nice decoration. Maybe if you've got paint, you can use some different colours. So that is the end of today's maths session. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. We did quite a bit of work on doubling and halving and talking about how that works and how it applies to groups and numbers at the same time. Try and remember the terminology you've been using all lesson about equal groups, divide, multiply, the same again. All those are very important when we're talking about doubling and halving to explain how to show and how to do it. So we'll be back the same time next week on Tuesday for another Key Stage 1 maths session. Tomorrow I will be doing a maths session, but it will be for children in lower Key Stage 2 between the ages of 7 to 9. But if you'd like to come along, and have a watch, you might need a little bit of help from mums and dads at home, but by all means, there's no reason you can't try and have a go at the session. So if I don't speak to you sooner, everyone, I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.